Melissa here with Healthy Being by Melissa YouTube channel. Thanks for checking out my channel. Today, this episode, I am talking about inflammation and the root cause of inflammation in your body. A lot of individuals talk about being inflamed, having joint pain, muscle pain, even pain and swelling in an extremity like your head, your limbs, even your torso. And what I want to talk to you about is one of the major root causes that I actually work with. I'm a naturopathic physician and I work with individuals to really minimize pain and inflammation and all the symptoms that often come with the inflammatory response of the body. What I find is that there are some environmental factors. Sometimes it's toxicity, sometimes it's an allergic reaction to our environment. Others, it might be from metal or some sort of implant that they might have in the body. But when we drill it down, always at the core of inflammation is some sort of gut imbalance, or what we call gut dysbiosis. Basically, what that means is that our digestive system, that's from the beginning here in the mouth all the way through the entire digestive system, including the exit of our digestive process through the bowels and the rectum, there is some degree of breakdown in that process. Some individuals report GERD, and that begins the process if they're taking a pill like Nexium. Others may have had an exposure to parasitic activity or have gluten intolerances. But what I do is I work with individuals in breaking down and really trying to identify what type of inflammatory cause is at play. And usually what happens is we find that there are some levels of imbalance within the gut flora. And there's a term that you may be hearing. It's all the buzz in the world of naturopathic and functional medicine. And it's the gut microbiome. Basically, your gut, your digestive system, and this is really all about the small intestine itself, where all of the food that gets broken down actually gets absorbed and assimilated into the body. There are these little microvilli that are like sea anemones, and they, at the very base of their little wands, they kind of float like this. They're attached to the intestinal wall. And they're doing this whole little thing, and there are these little holes, they're like vacuums. They're sucking in nutrients that are being broken down, hopefully, in your body by digestive enzymes. So take note of that down below. There's going to be another video linking about digestive enzymes and the role of inflammation in this series. But what happens is these little microvilli are sucking in food particles or nutrients that get broken down. Sometimes the food particles actually will cause a clogging of this little microvilli vacuum, and it will cause inflammation. Sometimes it's redness when we are actually scoping that area. Sometimes it gets really inflamed and actually will cause an infection. We can measure these reactions, and we can measure blood, and we can measure the body's inflammatory response through the stool. So I work with a lot of individuals in analyzing the stool samples, and we send them off to a lab on the West Coast. And basically what it does is it tells us what's at play in the digestive system. There are many things that the digestive system needs. It needs good nutrients to create this healthy microbiome. Essentially, how I describe the microbiome is it is very similar here in Florida, off our coast, off many coasts here in the world. We have the coral reefs, and your coral reef is your digestive system. And any healthy coral reef will have a multitude of colors. It'll have a lot of different coral. There'll be coral blooms, and it's a feeder for other fish. So we have small little fish, and then attracts other fish and larger fish. And ultimately, it creates the right environment for the healthy functioning ecosystem. A good coral reef is actually filtering out and cleaning the water. So if you think about the gut and digestive system, we often are told take probiotics because it's good for our gut. And I'm going to break down that specifically in another video down below. But basically, the probiotics and healthy bacteria in pre-bacteria and bacterial food. that is something that is necessary to create the healthy environment in the digestive system. Usually what occurs is individuals may have at some point in their past, and who hasn't, had some degree or dosage of an antibiotic. The antibiotic is anti against bio, living organisms, and basically it's there to fight infection in the body. But what it does is it breaks down the gut microbiome. And over time, when we have an ecosystem that is lacking in the color flora, the bacteria, healthy bacteria that is often present in a coral reef, our digestive system and our small intestine has that same kind of environment. So if we wipe out strains of healthy bacteria with an antibiotic, we will then start to see a creeping effect and a compounded effect in this ecosystem, if you will. Basically, I'm not trying to tell you don't take antibiotics. That's something I have a disclaimer against. I don't recommend not taking them when they're necessary. You'll find that a lot of medical doctors, as we're learning more about this, they will try to recognize viral activity versus bacterial activity. A lot of times people are getting antibiotics for things that needed to just run its course. But basically, over time, and this could be sometimes a few days, a few weeks, a few months, sometimes years, there's this systematic breakdown and dysfunction of the digestive process. Symptoms will be present like IBS, gas and bloating, swelling or retention of fluid around the gut section. Sometimes it might be belching or gas immediately, like an hour after you eat food. Sometimes it'll be diarrhea or constipation. So if you have some of those, and that's just I'm hitting the tip of the iceberg here. If you have some of that, that's going to be an indicator that the inflammation you're feeling in your whole system is ultimately, it's a systemic inflammation. And when we say systemic, it's your whole body. So if you're feeling inflammation here in, let's say, the muscle, maybe fibromyalgia, related pain, even lupus, a lot of the autoimmune disorders, we can actually go back into the gut being a significant role in growing and developing those diagnoses. And also tends to be curative or regulatory in many ways. If we heal the gut, we'll actually get rid of a lot of the symptoms. So essentially, when we look at inflammation in the body, and I've had a few questions lately about how do we manage inflammation, it's very complex and it's multi-layered. And so, it's not just taking an aspirin or minimizing the inflammatory response of the body. Inflammation is caused, and it's a symptom, and it's a communication tool, if you will, from your body. And your body's telling you, whoa, red alert, stop. There is something that is not working right. And when we start to drill down the root of that pain, an inflammatory response in the body and sensitivity to environmental or toxic factors, we need to look at the gut. And so if you're watching this video and you're sitting here and this is something that resonates with you, I think it definitely would be imperative for you to watch some of my other videos. But do some research. Inflammation of the digestive system and the term we call leaky gut syndrome or SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, are much more common than you would think. And we are seeing more and more gastro specialists and medical doctors starting to recognize the root cause of these inflammatory and often autoimmune related disorders. So if you found this video helpful, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, I hope you subscribe. And please check out the additional videos I have in this inflammation related series. And I hope it's been something that is food for thought. Follow me and I'll produce more videos and information related to how to minimize inflammation and really help heal your body. And if it's something where you want to work individually with me, I am coordinating Skype and FaceTime and phone consults here from my home office during my extended maternity leave. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time, and be well, and have a great one.